Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Timber Dune, where everything's looking nice and lush and beautiful, and I'm super excited about it. However, there are a couple projects that we still want to tackle. The other half of the map is not looking lush or glorious or green or anything, so I'd like to continue working that whole project over here, get that up and running a little bit more better, if you will. And then I would like to finish the rest of this project over here so we can actually get water out of the bottom of this reservoir. But that requires us running power under here. I still have yet to get that up and running. And then this whole project right here. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I want to tackle this. I did have, you guys did have some good ideas there in the comment section, coming in here, putting some impermeable flooring on top of some platforms and cutting our way in that way. I'm not opposed to that idea. I kind of like that idea a lot. Maybe we'll come back in, rip all these triples out and throw in some doubles, and then blast our way down the final stretch with some platforms and impermeable flooring, or maybe do singles and then do platforms down to the bottom. The problem is on this side, I don't believe that we can actually get that going because you can't place platforms on top of the actual water sources. So I can finagle a way around that without too much issue, hopefully, maybe. At least that's how I think that's going to work in my brain. And I did throw in a couple of the small things over here so that these guys can take advantage of this irrigated land up here. So these guys are actually planting trees now, so they're doing something a little bit more proactive with their lives. A little bit more, I should say. So that's cool. And then let's see, what else are we going to work on today? There was this whole river down here that I kind of want to get into. So first, we have this river that runs through it. So this is only active during the bad tides, this river is. So in theory, if we pop down in here and cap off these bad tide drains, then we shouldn't have any issue with this river feeding any bad water anywhere. And then we've got this one over here, which these are the positives, this is the positive and these are the negatives over here. So if we cap that off and have a shunt for the bad tide, we can have a lot of good water running through here, and we can even force that into this system over here, and then that can feed into our huge what is it called? Words. I know how to word. Into our huge lake that we're going to create over here for our second oasis. But that's going to require a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, a little bit of all the things, and we will see what we get to first. But first off, let's go ahead and I guess we can work on this right now. Since we're in the middle of a bad tide, we can't really tap into that bad water river down there without causing any issues. So let's go ahead and rip this out down here. We'll have to reclaim all of that material again. We might do a little cheesing action just so that all of that material gets all down here real quick, so we don't have to have them running halfway across the world. So let's just do that real quick. We are going to have to delete that path, though, because it won't let us build that on top of a path. So that path gets destroyed. This path also gets destroyed. And then we do a little cheese with some dynamite. Actually, we don't need to do cheese with dynamite. We'll just do some dynamite cheese. That is not exactly how I wanted that to go, but we'll figure something out for all of that. We want this to come all the way down to there, then we can do some stuff on top of all that. Let's get them working on everything again, and they can clean up all of that mess for us at a time that is beneficial to them. And I completely neglected this portion here, so let's get that all, put that back on top of there, and we'll have to clean up all of that mess and yada yada blah blah. Yeah, I made a mess of all the things, but it's okay. The game, however, is not loving me these days. Everything seems to be running a little bit more, a little less cleanly, which is sad. we will come up here and reclaim all this material that has been neglected. We'll try to clean up a few of the pathways. I noticed that our frame rate was dropping to sub 30 at one point, so I came in and cleaned up some of the pathing, and it'll randomly drop down to sub 30 while we're actively doing stuff, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Did come over here and do a little cleanup of this area, so now we've got a little bit more room to place even more deep water pumps down in this area, and we still have an outlet for all the water. I did want to put in a sensor. A sensor. Also, that path sitting on top of there is preventing our beavers from pumping out as much water as they can. Alright, that's fine. That'll get everything moving a little bit better now, so that's alright. That's all good. They are slowly but surely cleaning all of that up. We can actually pull this back in so they can continue placing all this dynamite back on this other side as well, so that'll be good. They are cleaning up all of the explosives from the mess that I crafted for them earlier, so that's a good thing. That means that we'll get to retrieve all of those explosives as well as our extract, so that's a good thing. And I've got that planted in here, and that is fantastic. And then it's just a matter of getting this a priority bump, and then the rest of the beavers can place all of the dynamite for us without too much issue. At least that's my thought anyway. All right, now there are a couple other small odds and ends that we could probably tackle to make their lives a little bit easier. So maybe we do something to alleviate our bots charging problems that we are randomly creating throughout the entire world. So maybe we can help out a little bit with that. I doubt it's going to be much, but you know, any little bit is appreciated. At least that's how I'm going to believe that's how it's supposed to work. Give those the appropriate priority bump that they need so we can get those systems back up and running. We're going to come over here, check out on how all of this is doing. They are up here. They're running ragged because I haven't... Well, I do have a weight in here. A little bit easier. Probably should have given them a place to... Actually, since we are about to do some heavy lifting on this end, let's do something like this. Put in some planks here. Hit this obtain button, prioritize, and we'll do a medium tank here for extract, and we'll put in a medium warehouse for some explosives because that will be necessary for this next effort. Now let's give this a little bit of a priority bump so that they know that that needs to be taken care of as soon as practicable, and they are done with everything on that end, and that is what we want to see. Now, we can blast this off without any issue, is my understanding. Everything's going to be a little bit angry at me as I blast all these things off, and that's fine by me. Now, what we want to do is actually place in all of these platforms. I think what we want to do actually is place the 1x6s on top of here, or not on top of there. Hold up. Let's pull this down. I just want to make sure that we are in the right spot here. And that should cover that. Okay, so we need to come back this way one. It's actually a perfect spot. Though I do want to blast this out. We want to rip this out. And then that means that you get to be probably a 1x6. No, we want you to be blasted down here. And then we put this on. Well, I don't need to do that because we can place... I don't know why my brain is not braining very well today, but clearly I have become delusional. It's all good. So that goes in right there, and we'll just do this moving forward. Don't know if this is really going to be that much cheaper in the long run, but we shall see. We put all of this in. I do need to run over here and place in another one of these large industrial piles. Give this a max priority. That'll be metal blocks. That'll go into there, and that's what we need. And what we should probably think about doing as well is placing something in here to help out with a little bit of charging for them as well, for all of our Build-A-Bots that seem to be running themselves a little bit ragged. So we'll toss something in right there. We'll grab our science here, grab our charging stations. I think we can supplement 400, so we can fit 8 on there without any issue. Give that a little bit of a bump, and then we can grab this right here, grab that right there. And that's kind of what we want to do there. Now we also need to run this out this way and run that all the way down this way. I think we could probably rip this out. But what are you doing? What were you doing there all by your lonesome, not telling me that you were bored? Because of these couple of trees over here. You're such a goober. All right, that's going in, so that is good. I don't think we need to put anything else out in there. That'll be okay. We'll meet the requirements there appropriately. Water will come in. We've got it prioritized by haulers. It means all of that should get turned on here in a moment. Please and thank you. There we go. Now all of our beavers, or all of our Build-A-Beavers, should be able to accommodate themselves pretty easily. Hauling is taking its sweet time, though, and it probably has something to do with the fact that I've got so many things selected as priority by hauler, which is requiring a lot of their time elsewhere. And we do have all these turned on and plugged in, so we should be keeping up with the demand there. I don't know if we're necessarily keeping up with the demand as far as total production of the metal blocks are concerned. Yeah, that's going to be a lot. Going to be a lot. All right. So, now that we've got that going in, we can start working our way down here, which is going to look a lot like this. We just need to make sure we're not doing anything greater than 10 by 3. Actually, hold up. We do this, that. Actually, that one needed to be in there. Bring that back. We don't need to do these. We just need to put in dynamite. Regular dynamite. We just do these little lines right here underneath each of the platforms, and then doubles all the rest. Right? Yeah, that should do the job. That don't have to be concerned about going off the grid here because it won't let us place above, and that should work. All right. So this needs to be obtain, prioritize. That's already prioritized. Let's go ahead and hit that too. And metal blocks still are taking their sweet time, but it will find its way over here. And honestly, we probably don't need to do this because we're about to run into that whole we're done with the bad tide. However, I'm anticipating a little bit more of an issue with uncapping this in the first place, just due to the fact that this system hasn't been unplugged this entire time. I don't know entirely how the game reacts to something like that happening, so this is probably the smartest way to avoid any mass casualty events. So that's kind of my going in thought as to why we shouldn't be doing anything too crazy here. Hit that supply button on that one. And let's grab you. And hit the supply button there as well. So maybe that'll help speed up the movement of goods about the cabin. We'll see one way or the other. We are encroaching upon the end of our add tide. So these are about to turn on, which means I'm going to lose a good 20 or so beavers over here. These guys are going to be in. We're going to be bored for a moment. You just need to check on all of this. Apparently there was a little bit of water still stuck in there. I do want to put in something. Actually, bring that back. I want to not have you on unlimited. I want you at 2. Yeah. You on at 2 as well, so we don't have a major sloshing incident, which will occur. All right. How are we doing material-wise? We seem to be keeping up with the demand for the most part. Water is kind of dwindling a tad bit, but that will get rectified soon-ish. I would like to connect this up with this side so these guys don't have to make that big of a run. So maybe we'll do a little finagling with this as well. We can connect into there, and then we can just run this down this side and get there and toss in a single dynamite right here. It'll be something they can do at their earliest convenience. This is now turned on though, so that is good. I still would like to put in some sort of aquifer type system to pump this water elsewhere, but I don't think the juice is quite worth the squeeze to get that up and running. This is all finally almost in though, so that is fantastic. We're waiting on the last one of these to get thrown in. 4 more metal blocks, which should be what this guy is carrying on hand. He's going to run away. That guy's going to come slap that, and then we're on the last 3 pieces there. Now it's just a matter of placing in all of the dynamite yet again and grabbing our impermeable flooring and covering all of these systems so that we don't run into a situation where this all goes boom. Now, in theory, this shouldn't explode too much, but I just want to be extra careful, all right? Once everything's cleared out and we have 100% assurance that this isn't going to explode everywhere, then we can remove all of this, and we'll have a diversion system already pretty much ready to rock and roll. We'll just built some triple platforms underneath here, or 1x3s overhangs, and cap those off with impermeable flooring to have a bad water shunt go that way, and then we'll have all of our clean water kick out that way. But we are at the end of day 1 of our temperate cycle, and this is filling up nicely. So that is good to see. I did install this depth sensor over here. Just not entirely sure how I want to use this. I guess I could have this. Oh, okay. I could have this set up with what is the. What is it? Not a relay, not a lever. There's an certain. Is it a relay? I don't think it's no, it's not the relay. What am I thinking about here? The one with the if then logic. Not the timer. Or the and not logic? Where was that hiding? Resource counter, population counter, speaker, no. Memory, no. HTTP, no. Changes and holds a state and response specific input sequence. No, I don't think I want that. I cannot recall for the life of me the name of that answer here. Where was it? I had a couple of those over here, but I think I ripped them all out. That's the chronometer. Don't need that. Indicator, no. Depth sensor, no. Chronometer, no. Weather station, no. Power meter, no. Resource counter, no. Science counter, no. Indicator, no. Clearly, I'm losing my mind. Is it the relay? It is the relay. I need... And then... You do... An or? No, not. Actually, what does the latch do? You guys have been talking about latches. What does a latch do? Captures A while B is on, resets when reset. What does that mean? State in response to specific corners. That's that making no sense to me. So if I tie... Well, no, I don't want that to... My brain can't handle what I'm trying to do. So what I'm trying to do is restrict this to a certain output during the temperate cycle. So it'll continuously flow. Then I want it to... I don't know if that's a thing that can occur. Maybe I'm too dumb. Maybe I don't understand how stuff works. But it's okay. This is coming along nicely, it appears, though. Apparently I can't actually click the explosives here. Okay, now I can click the explosives. Okay, they've got a fair portion of them all planted, so that is good. They haven't quite made it down to here yet. We've got a little bit of that in, and I don't want to pop this until they get the impermeable flooring placed, which is going to take a minute. And this has all been almost restocked, but they've got a lot of metal to put down for the impermeable flooring. They are nearing the end of the line here to get all of the explosives in for us, so that's a good thing. That makes me happy. And then this hasn't been touched, obviously, because there's a huge work project going on over here. And it does appear as though they are blasting down slowly but surely, so that's good. Means we're not going to be blocking anything off. Hopefully that doesn't take them too long to get all that accommodated. We've got so many things to plant all the way back here. I think that they're on the last couple here. Oh, that doesn't need to go in. That doesn't need to go in either. Cool. You don't need to be there. Nor do you, and nor do you. Right, that's at the layer below. That's all good to go. We're on the last couple back here. It looks like we are good for that. Pull us back up by one. Let's check on all these explosives. So as these get filled in, we can actually see down here a little bit better now, so that's cool. Now we can see all of the overhangs getting slowly through, or not overhangs, the impermeable flooring. We do have a bad tide approaching, so that's not cool, but it is what it is. Let's see if we can swap out one of these workplaces with bots. Maybe that'll help move some of these metal blocks around the cabin a little bit easier. Oh, why are we flooded? Oh, That's not how that's supposed to have happened. Sorry, guys. Let's go ahead and rip that out here. Hopefully that guy wasn't hoping to not fall into the abyss there, but let's get that cleaned up so we can fix that. Yeah, I'll fix your path here in a second. There. Now you can get back to work. That can get thrown in real quickly. Real quick like, please, and thank you. Don't need that all running out to everywhere. That should have stopped it. Hold up. Hold up. I thought I blocked all that off. Obviously, that was an incorrect assumption. Get that rectified. I don't know if I can actually plant anything under there. That should be fine. Should be okay. And then, all right, give me this back here. I'm gonna go around now. There's reasons. Hit that button there. Give me you. Pull that back there. I don't want that there, actually. I want you. That goes like that. Clearly, that didn't work as advertised, but that's fine. It doesn't need to go there. Neither does that one, but that comes all the way back to here. That gets connected in like such as. And if we wanted to cap this off, we could come over here and do this. I'm not entirely sure if this is necessary, but I feel as though it might be. So let's go ahead and do that. That probably means checking to make sure they can reach that. Allegedly they can. Hopefully we can do all this? Question mark? Is that a little bit of a priority bump? This will take half a millisecond to get all of that placed in though, so that should be good. We go ahead and toss this in for that bad Johnny to make their lives a little bit easier. Game is having a heart attack, but that's fine. We are still slowly placing all of this in, and we are running out of metal blocks like it's no one's business, which is not good. We get this rectified? No. Still haven't got a lot of the material over here. Haulers are moving goods in. It's just taking a hot minute to get that accommodated. It might help if I had an easier way for them to get there. Could cut across right here. Put a little of this kohlrabi out. Like that. We have a little bit of this in. If we cut this line right here, wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay, one last kohlrabi. It's right there. Come on. There it goes. Don't think that really helped out too much, but it's fine. All right, cool. Everything appears to be in. So let's see what this does, shall we? Let's pull this bad Johnny down and let's pop this off, shall we? Boom. Okay. It didn't cause as much of an issue as I thought it would. So that's a good thing. Well, I believe I've contained the problem. Now everything should be clear water coming out of here. Gonna grab the rest of these, pop the rest of these off, and bada bing, bada boom. That is all clean and clear water. Now, what we need to do, just to ensure that we are not causing any issues for any of our goods over here, is grab this irrigation barrier and plug this in right there to ensure that this doesn't cause problems when this turns into poo water, which in theory it shouldn't. However, we can already see irrigation is spreading, even if it is positive irrigation, which probably means we might want to blast this a little bit lower than it already is. I think the answer is yes. I do believe we do. We want to... How strong of a flow is that? 0.15? Okay, so these are like super light. Okay, I didn't need to be so concerned with that as I was, but that's okay. Now we know that that won't be an issue, so we can recoup all of the impermeable flooring for ourselves, because nothing went boom and caused a mass flooding or extinction of event. So that's good. Okay, so we have one bot with nothing to do and one bot who's... one job that's not getting accomplished. Why is that? Let's pull this down to 2. There we go. Now that's taken care of. Now we have a bot over here with nothing to do with their hands, which means clicking here just to confirm that it is a true statement, but that is fine. Okay, so that's in. We've rectified that little bit of an issue for all of those bad Johnnies down there. Now we can grab a couple of these and maybe put in a few more. I don't know if I really feel as though that's necessary to do that. Okay, so they got this in. Let's see how bad this negative irrigation is. It's a 23-day bad tide. Let's pull this down, check on this whole shtick. Okay, so that does spread a fair amount of poo water. Not good. Doesn't appear to me as though that's causing too much issues thus far. I still do want to blast that down, and I think the answer is probably too deep. Yeah, I think too deep is the answer. So let's see how we want to tackle that. So that looks something like this. Do something along these lines, all the way back here. We fill everything else back in. Oh, you won't let me place you there. Why not? Oh. Well, that's not good, actually. Actually, that's not bad. Because if we force it out this way, maybe 1 deep is good enough. Yeah. Maybe? Kind of want to go deeper than that. And then I don't know. I may have messed this up a little bit. Now we got a big hole right there. Right on top of our contamination sensor. What is this? Oh, you could change the colors of the... Oh, that's cool. Hmm. I don't want to tackle this. Just cut through here and have the bad water go out that way. Maybe that's fine. Would be fine. Come on. And this all the way back to here. And then to there. Question is that large enough of a cavity to allow for that water to actually escape? And how am I going to rectify this problem right here? Because I can't place these. Because there's nothing below it to support it. I'm going to have to break into here somehow. Well, I might have access to that corner, maybe, after they place all this dynamite and we blast that down. Seems the irrigation barriers were a tad bit unnecessary, so that's a good and a bad thing. You know, it's fine. You know, it's a little bit of a sparkly plank usage there, but you know, it's better to be safe than be sorry. You know, that's what they tell me. That I need. Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Better to be safe than sorry. Okay, so that's all in. Let's go ahead and hit these. Back here. Get this all the way back here. Let that go. What just went? Okay. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But, I think I know what happened. Something didn't happen. I don't know. Too far from district cannot be reached. We do have bad tide going out that way, but it doesn't appear as though that is a fast enough exit for that sheer amount of poo water. And I think we've probably caused a little bit more of an issue for ourselves, so we're going to have to come in here, probably cut this a little bit wider. Which we should be able to do from the top. So that looks like throwing in some doubles back here. I want to make sure that we aren't cutting too deeply. When you go back 1, 2, 3, right? Should be the right depth, and then we'll pull back a couple more just for giggles. And we'll go ahead and put in some more of this tunneling here. It appears as though we can't do that either. Because reasons? Probably because... Yep. Okay. Well, the game wants to continue to fight me. It's all good. We'll get it rectified some way. Somehow. That got blasted out. This gets blasted out. That is going to be needed right there as well. That'll go in. And then what we're going to need to do here, figure out a way to force this down or keep pushing this down to this level. Do we want to do that? Is that a smart idea? The only time that this should be active, so if we put some sort of system in here that only allows for a single flow, should be fine. We could go down one more all the way back. I'm not opposed to it. I like that idea, actually. So we're going to come back go down one more level. There's no reason not to at this point, since we're already connecting into that system and making that system a little bit more aggressive. So let's pull this down and then hit this button. That goes down one more level here, all the way back. And I don't believe that we're cutting into any potential issues other places. So we should be good. The question is, why haven't they touched those yet? Too far from district. Oh, okay. That's what broke earlier. I was wondering what that was. All right. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. Now we can reach it. That gets a little bit of a priority bump, so that can get placed and we can rock and roll. They're putting all the explosives in for us, so that's good. Explosives are still making their way in. Planks are making their way in. Metal blocks are in as well. Soon, we'll be able to do something about this. So what I'm thinking is a little bit of probably a fill valve here. And then on top of that, we put in yeah, hold up. Put in some levees around here. That's going to have to get rectified a little bit differently. I can't put overhangs directly on top of that. That's fine there. You get to be a 5 here. You get to be a 6 here. Then we put in another 4 and then a 2 here. Then on this side we put in a levee here, 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 and here. And that should fill that all in. Now we want to do on top of that is put in fill valves, probably feeding this way. Make it 4 just for giggles. And that's going to require us to put something in on top here. Don't know if I really need impermeable flooring on here. It might be a tad bit unnecessary. We'll have to put a levee right there to prevent that from flowing out. Don't know if I can really get rid of this without too much issue. I should be fine doing that though. So let's go ahead and put in this levee there. And just to make that look good, that can go in like that. Now what we do is have these turned on during the bad tide, or do I want a flow sensor to do that? Can I fit a sensor? Not a flow sensor. Can I fit a contamination sensor in there? Yes. Yes, I can. I can even put that back in there. We can tie this to be there. Contamination less than, no, greater than 1%. That should turn it to the on position. That means that we automate this to that. Then want in the on position, I want you, because you're on, because it's greater than 1%. So that means that you get to be unlimited. And then in the off position, you get to be turned off. We come up here and do the inverse. So we grab this, attach it to that. We do off is unlimited, and on you are closed. No, is it fill valve that I want? Or was it? Do I want fill valve? Or do I want the throttling valve? I think the fill valve will work. That's what I've got down here, right? No, I've got throttling valves down here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put the throttling valves in. So let's grab that, throw the throttling valves in, do that, automate to that. Then when it's on, I want this to be flow unlimited. When it's off, I want that to be flow off. And then we need to go back up here, rip these guys out, put in the throttling valves, the inverse direction. Put those levies back on top of there. Grab you. Automate. Do that one. Then I want, when it's on, I want the flow unlimited. And then when it's on, I want, or when it's off, I want the flow unlimited. And when it's on, I want the flow turned off. So that should, in theory, allow us to shunt the good water this way, and then the bad tide will go that way. And what we want to do is kind of don't know if this was really necessary. But if we keep burying this further down, then that means we don't have to contend with potential negative irrigation from all these systems. So that's all on that level there. Don't know why I didn't put that in. That in. Put this in. Clearly because I can't. I did, however, get this in, so that means that we can blast that out without any issue. That still needs to be blasted out here. And now we need to cap this off appropriately before it turns into an issue for us during the next temperate cycle when all of this gets yeeted out of existence. So let's grab you, copy you across the way. Then we want to do the same. So we want to grab you and grab that, put that in right here. Right? I think that's how I want that to work. Why did the water stop flowing? Okay. So wait. Why aren't these attached to anything anymore? Did I not automate these? Hold up. When it's on, I want the flow unlimited. Yeah. When it's on, I want this flow off. That's weird. Why didn't the automation stick? I don't think I messed with the automation on that. Okay. So now what we need to do is come in on top of here. Fill this back in somehow. Though that was a tad bit excessive. Stupid even, one might say. And I need you inverted. No. I don't think I need throttling valves here. I think I just need fill valves here. I just need the water to not flow back in, right? So in theory, this should match this, which it does now. So that stays on. Lets all the bad water out. Now we've got to force this water down and below this level and then fill everything back in with dirt on top of that. Now we've got an outlet for all that poo water to go. And that took way too long. Holy moly. I did not think that one little project would take that long. All right. And we're in another bad tide, so I can't really do the other project that I had in mind either. So that stinks. They wanted to get under here, rip into all that. That's not cool, bro. Could we do that? I don't know if we could. Yeah, because that's too aggressive. This whole system over here. Well, we can quickly run power in. And I still do need to, yeah. Let's tackle that real quick. Let's see how we want to get into there. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run power over here. Hopefully not cause an issue by breaking into something that I'm not supposed to. By running the power underground. Or maybe we just run it over the ground and not contend with that. Or we cut it out enough to not cause any issues for all of our friends. And that's the smart thing to do. I don't know. We'll see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the power running this way. Put it into a position where it's not going to cause an issue for anybody. And we'll see you all on the next episode of I Don't Know What to Do with My Hands. And also, we're going to unlock this mechanical fluid pump. I need you to pump this way. I don't think I need more than maybe 3. Oh no, we'll see. Why can't you build that? Too far from district, cannot be reached. Okay, so we're going to run power over here. We're going to get all of these up and running. And get this rocking and rolling in the free world. And we'll catch you all in the next episode of Timber Dune, where I'm making all of the wrong decisions, making all of the terrible life choices, and having a great old time while we're doing it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate that as well. We are moving and grooving in a wonderful way, and I appreciate y'all being here and experiencing it with me. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful time wherever you are in the world. Stay safe out there. Stay nice and thirsty. Stay nice and moist. And we'll catch you all in the next episode of Timber Dune. I'm out. See ya.